Hi guys, it's Henrik here from XYZ Playground. I'm joined here today by Joshua, who is a co-founder. And as some of you may already know, we are a collective of young thinkers with diverse backgrounds that hope to engage the leaders of today to learn from the leaders of tomorrow. And so the theme of this month, we have been posting quite a few videos on change management. And now going into the last week of this month, we want to sort of look back of the last year and what changes has been imposed on us. And once we're again going into a potential future without as many restrictions, will some of these changes that we have now become accustomed to, will they go back to normal, or will this be the new normal, if you will? So, Joshua, what do you think? What do you make of this? The question I'm really getting is, are the ways that we now consume and are now accustomed to going to change and shift back as they were before? Or do you see some kind of a pattern or trend in this consumption?
Yeah, Henrik, thanks for the time again today. It's great to chat again as always. So I think, maybe to start, I want to just start with understanding the word normal. And normal is quite an interesting word. And there's been a lot of talk over the last sort of 14 months about the new normal and phrases like now more than ever, that I think a lot of people have become rather, it's become commonplace to speak like that and to sort of challenge ourselves to think about what is the new normal. And today, really, from a thinking standpoint, and where I'd like to start is the word normal, like I mentioned, because I think that normal's quite an interesting concept that we need to rather unpack. And rather than saying the new normal, it implies that we've moved from something that's old to something that's new. I think that normal's, constant. And I would rather say that's something that we've become accustomed to. So in terms of looking in terms of what this new normal may look like, I'd rather say what have consumers become accustomed to over the last 12 months that they might now take forward into the next time frame, whether that be 3, 5, or 10 years. And I think that's quite an interesting framing point to start from. So I think if you look at purely from a consumer standpoint, what have consumers become accustomed to? Firstly, they've become accustomed to digital experiences. And that's not necessarily by choice, but rather that they've been forced into those experiences. Secondly, I think that they've become aware of the purchasing that they are, rather the purchases that they're making. So what is it that you actually need, and how is it that you're spending your money? Because first and foremost, I think, as we have been confined into the four walls of our surrounds over the last 12 months, we've sort of become quite conscious around that. If you look at here in South Africa, for example, the retail investment market has seen phenomenal growth because people have had excess funds that they've now pivoted away from, unnecessary social spending rather into an investment market and things like that. And then thirdly, I think is around where people are going to actually think about the experiences that they're having. So I think that's a big shift in terms of how people are engaging with brands and businesses, particularly in the retail space, whether, from a physical interaction perspective, how can you combine the online perspective, make it more convenient for the consumers and things like that. So those are three things that I think people have become accustomed to over the last 12 months. And I think that, when we talk about the new normal, let's rather think about what people have become accustomed to and how we can better use those changes to craft better experiences for the consumers going forward.
Absolutely, very wise words of you there, Joshua, I must say. And as you say, talking about this digital migration that has happened, it is almost like some of us that haven't been as present on just digital consumption before has now been forced over that barrier that was before hindering them from actually experience what it actually is like. And once you're crossing that barrier, I find it hard to believe that all of them will go back as normal again. Of course, for some reason, some services, you would like to go to a store and get greeted by someone in the reception or whatever. But once you're over that barrier, in many cases, there aren't really any need to go back again. So yeah, thank you for sharing your views on this, Joshua. And we'll get back talking later on this week. And if any of you watching this would like to get in contact with us at XYZ Playground, please contact us from our website or just send us a message here on LinkedIn. Thank you very much.